I want to talk about voter registration, specifically in Texas. So what is going on in Texas in regards to voter registration? Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has led raids against a Latino civil rights organization called LULAC. Now, what is the story with this, and who are LULAC? LULAC is the League of Latino American Citizens. They're one of the oldest civil rights groups in the United States, not just in Texas. And they, among other things, go out every election and register people to vote. Specifically, their aim is to help Latino Americans register to vote so that they can go out and vote and take part in our democracy and all that stuff. And Ken Paxton doesn't like that. Ken Paxton has gone and used his position as the Attorney General to raid the offices of LULAC and shut down their voter registration efforts under the guise that LULAC are registering non-citizens to vote, which is complete and total bullshit. And I have 100% confidence that LULAC will be exonerated in every way. However, that doesn't change the fact that now they are not allowed to go and register people to vote anymore, and lots of people are going to have their votes suppressed because of this fucking bullshit. The group members have had their laptops and phones confiscated. This is just in time to stop them from registering anybody else to vote before the election. There's, of course, zero evidence that they are registering people who are not citizens to vote. So why does it matter? Well, it matters because even though they're going to get off with no jail time, the last day to register people to vote in Texas is October 7th. So it basically puts an end to their efforts to help people to vote, and it suppresses the vote just that much more, which in a very super tight election like this might actually change some of the voter counts. Might actually change it. I mean, you have this super tight election where it's like, you know, these elections come down to less than 10,000 votes in some cases. And there you go. You stop people from registering, then they can't vote. That's what voter suppression is all about. Please remember that Ken Paxton does not give a fuck about catching anyone who actually broke the law. He doesn't actually care about voter suppression. He's doing this to help the Republicans and to prevent the Democrats, or specifically to prevent Democratic voters from being registered to vote. Because, you know, Latinos are more likely to vote Democrat. Why does it matter? Because the polls are actually pretty tight in Texas right now. For essentially the first time in 40 years, they're tightening up. I think it's something like Kamala Harris is less than 5 points behind Trump in Texas. For Texas, that's huge. I think Trump won Texas by like 13 points in 2016 or something like that. So if it's tightened up that much, it kind of shows that, hey, Texas might be vulnerable. You know, they've been talking about how Texas might turn blue for years and years, and that it never does. But this is pretty fucking close. If it's actually going to be, you know, less than 5 points, there may be a chance. And, you know, now will it mean that Kamala Harris takes Texas? Well, probably not. But it might be enough to, say, flip a Senate seat there. Like, how awesome would it be to get rid of fucking Ted Cruz? How awesome would that be? It's like, no more Ted Cruz. That would rule. That'd be great. Right? So that's how it matters. And when it's that tight, when a couple thousand votes in any given district could overturn an election like that, it fucking matters. It fucking matters, man. Here's the thing, right? Instead of getting out there and actually giving people what they want, the Republicans resort to cheating. See, elections are essentially popularity contests. That's what they are. You're supposed to go out there and you're supposed to canvass and you're supposed to have rallies and you're supposed to talk to people and be like, hey, I'm going to do this and this and this for you. I'm going to give you some policies that actually help you. And then people are convinced to vote for you. That's how democracy is supposed to fucking work. You're supposed to vote for someone based on what their policies are, based on what you want and what they'll do for you. That's how voting is supposed to work. Voting is a very selfish endeavor. It's all about you. Voting is not about the candidate. All right? It's all about you. What is this candidate going to do for you? Why should I vote for you? Tell me, convince me why I should vote for you. And the Republicans don't care about that because they don't care about you. They care about them. They care about themselves. And instead of going out and actually listening to the people and crafting some policies that the people want that might actually help people, they figure it's much easier just to prevent people from voting. And this is why every election, you see these types of voter suppression tactics all over the country, whether it's in Florida, where they go and they kick off people that they say, oh, well, these people are convicted felons. And then they just kick off 50,000 people. And it's like half the people that they fucking kick off the rolls aren't felons. Or half of them are like just somebody that has the same name as somebody else. His name might be like Fernando Garcia. And there's like 6 Fernando Garcias in the state. And they just kick off everybody with the same fucking name going, oh, we don't know which one it is. Better get rid of all of them. Shit like that. And then Fernando Garcia shows up and tries to vote. And he goes, oh, I was registered to vote. Finds out on fucking election day that he can't vote. Voter suppression. There you go. 101. That's how it is. And that's what Republicans do every fucking time. Every fucking election. Because they don't care about you. They don't care what you want. You know, here's the thing, right? They always target Latinos because Latinos traditionally vote Democrat. But the Latino community is actually very highly conservative. They are. Latinos as a community, as a demographic, are extremely religious, overwhelmingly Catholic. They're like against abortion as a demographic. That's how they tend to vote. They're very leery of abortion, right? They're very much for traditional values. And you would think if the Republican Party would just cater to these people, then they would actually have a chance of winning some of them. And that's why you do see, actually, over the last decade or so, Latinos kind of warming up to the Republican Party. I mean, just as a demographic, they're very religious and they tend to vote according to what their religion is. And that just lines up with conservative Christians and shit like that. But why is it that they all vote, they tend to vote more Democrat? Because of shit like this, because of racism, because of discrimination from Republicans. If they would just get over the fucking discrimination, if they would just actually welcome these people into the fold, they would see that they have like an entire demographic which is growing, which is predisposed to their fucking like agenda. But they don't want to do that because their skin is the wrong color. Instead of catering to these people and trying to win their votes legitimately, they instead would rather just cheat and kick them off the rolls. And it's like, I mean, I think, well, good, fuck them, you know why? Because I don't want Republicans to win. But still, this shit is wrong. It's wrong, dude. You shouldn't be trying actively to stop people from fucking voting. And every, like, person that I see, that I talk to, that I see talking about it on the internet, anything like that, none of them have a good fucking response as to why it's better for less people to vote. I just want to bring attention to these stories as they come up. Because it's bullshit. It's bullshit, and here's what's going to happen about it. Nothing. Kim Paxton is going to get away with it. There's not going to be any investigations. Because he's the top cop in Texas, no one's going to do shit about it. He's going to get away with it 100%. It'll never probably be brought up, ever. And that's it. Because fucking it's Texas. It's corrupt as hell. Kim Paxton is a fucking authoritarian scumbag. Our country is fucked up. This is just life in the United States. When you live in Texas. Yeah, Texas, land of the free and all that shit. It's great. Except if you just happen to have the wrong skin color, then you don't get to vote. Will anybody do anything about this? Seriously, before we end this, will there ever be any way that Kim Paxton will ever be held accountable for this? No. He will never be held accountable for it. He knows he will never be held accountable for it, and as long as people keep voting for his corrupt ass, he'll get away with it forever. Because Republicans don't give a fuck about you. So yeah, I'm just doing my part here, spreading awareness of these kinds of things. And if you live in Texas, keep this in mind when you go to vote next year for your attorney general. Fuck Ken Paxton.